Don't buy an expensive lithium ion battery until you finish watching this, because I was wrong about them. But I was recently asked to test out the GoldenMate 50Ah battery, and it changed my opinion on 100Ah batteries for kayak anglers. Here's why. First of all, this battery is way lighter, more compact than 100Ah batteries. So for kayak anglers like me, that means when you're limited on space, you don't have to worry about your giant 100Ah battery taking up a lot of space in your kayak. Also, I don't feel like spending thousands of dollars on batteries. Because it's a smaller capacity battery than a 100Ah battery, it doesn't cost as much. So if you're on a little tighter budget, then stepping down to a 50Ah battery isn't necessarily a bad thing, especially when you're trying to save a little bit of money. However, what surprised me the most about this battery was the capacity. Now, I'd mentioned that I'd been burned by batteries in the past that just tanked on me, and I had to either quit fishing for the day or make a long paddle against the windback, and this battery hasn't done that to me. I actually went over 8 miles on a single charge with this battery, and it wasn't just like a little putting around. I was trolling in my kayak for 8 miles straight, just making loops around this cove at my local lake. And granted, I'd catch fish and I'd stop for a second and reel in the fish, but for the most part, I ran this battery pretty hard for about 4.5, 5 hours straight, and it held up just fine. I still had charge when I was loading it into the back of the truck. Now, even though this battery has several things going for it, it wouldn't be honest of me to just tell you the pros. There's actually some downsides to it, and I don't think this battery is for everybody. The biggest drawback for me is honestly the looks. It just looks cheap, and I've noticed that with a lot of these lithium ion batteries that I've reviewed in the past, they just don't look tough, they don't look well built, they look like the same factory produces them all. Maybe they do and they just slap their sticker on there. But that's a big downside for me because it doesn't give me necessarily a reason to buy one brand over the other. Now, I mentioned that this battery does have a lot of capacity, at least a lot higher than I expected it to have, but I still don't trust it to go on multiple trips back to back like days. For instance, the time that I ran that for 8 miles, though I didn't test to see how much battery I had left, I suspect I didn't have much left, so I charged it for the next trip, and I recommend you doing the same. So if you're looking for going on multiple day trips and you don't have a way to charge the battery, I wouldn't recommend using this battery. And lastly, this 50Ah battery is not compatible with the GoldenMate app like the 100Ah battery that I've reviewed recently is. I absolutely think that app is awesome. Number one, because I can see how much is left in this battery. So I can judge about how many more hours I've got left on the water with the app. And with this battery, I just can't do that. It's just a guess. Like I said, I'd really like to see that feature added to some of these smaller batteries. So who exactly is this battery for? Honestly, this is the best battery that I've tested so far for kayakers not looking to drop thousands of dollars on lithium ion batteries, but they still want enough power for a full day of fishing. However, I understand that 50 amp hours isn't enough capacity for everybody. And if that's the case, you can check out my GoldenMate 100 amp hour battery review that I've got down below me, and I can't wait to see you there.